Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. It is Friday, June the 3rd. We got a great show lined up for you today. Some special guests in here to talk about fishing, and which of course is our favorite thing to talk about. And we're looking at the weather today. It's a high of 86 with a low of 73. Got a 25% chance of rain off and on today. Light rain, that shouldn't be too heavy. With a wind, believe it or not, out of the west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles an hour. High tide today is at 12:48 p.m. with a low at 11:56 p.m. Average water temperature right now in the Gulf is holding pretty steady at 76 degrees. Been there for a little while. Really perfect for some of the things we're going to talk about this morning. And our peak fishing times, not a great day, but a good day from 3:10 p.m. till 5:10 p.m. and the moon, we got about 11% illumination, so that's not really a big deal. Then good news, let's talk about the river now. Apalachicola at Bluntstown, swelled up last week, ruined what should have been a good weekend of fishing, but Appalach right now is at 6 feet with a slow fall through the first part of the week, and Choctawhatchee at Caryville is unusually 6 feet, the same as the river at Appalach, and it's got a slow fall to it. So both of them in great shape for fishing this weekend, and we'll be talking about that in some later shows too. But right now we're going to go ahead and take our break. We'll be right back with a special guest. Welcome back. As usual, this is already fun. We haven't even started yet, but the man who needs no introduction, so I shouldn't do it. But Greg Brudnicki is here this morning with me. And did you bring this guy, or did you leave the door open and he slipped in?
Well, we would have been pompano fishing probably this morning had we not been here. I brought my dear friend.
Sacrifices you make for the listening public.
There you go, Tim Fontaine, who is a professional pompano fisherman.
Yeah.
Now, so
the man who I've described as trying to rid the Gulf of Mexico of pompano.
Exactly. He camouflages as a chemical engineer, but he is good at catching pompano. So we've talked about it before. And I thought that it would be really cool to bring him in to share some of his secrets with people, and let them, because there's people, that go out there and fish, and when they're really biting, you can pretty much catch them on anything. But when they're not, and when you're hunting them, it's good to have some tips that I think that people need to know. There's a lot of locals here that have never pompano fished, and so I thought I would bring Tim in today, told him to bring in some of his stuff, and so he could share some of the ideas of what he uses, tried and tested methods that have been around since we were kids.
Yeah, there are things that work, and you just you can't go to Walmart and buy some rigs and run out there and try to catch. You can try to catch them, but it's not necessarily productive. So. But I wanted to, you had and of course I'm technologically challenged, as we all know, but tell me about this picture you sent to me this morning.
My daughter Stella attends Holy Nativity. She's 12 years old, and she has
Your granddaughter.
My granddaughter, I'm sorry. And she attends Holy Nativity along with Tim's granddaughter, and one of their compadres, Elizabeth Arn, is down in Cabos, and my granddaughter sent me this picture last night at 10 o'clock. I got out of bed to answer a text, and this darling little girl caught a 624-pound black marlin, and they said by herself. I'm sure eventually she's had some help, but I got that picture last night. So, and I didn't really get permission for them to show it, but you know, I'm sure that they would. They're not going to mind. But isn't that amazing?
That is truly amazing, and
it's a very rare fish.
You know, nobody catches a marlin that size or bigger, you know, by themselves, as you know, and I do too. You know, you have a really good captain with the ability to back down on that fish, and a deckhand that's working, you know, non-stop, you know, to put that together. But for her to be strapped in a chair and go after that thing, that's absolutely amazing.
No doubt.
It is truly amazing.
So,
truly amazing. So congratulations.
Yeah.
That's a fish of a lifetime.
No kidding. I've never caught one.
Of a lifetime.
I've never caught one. So, but anyway, so getting back to the pompano, I want Tim to kind of show you his rigs and talk about, you know, we fish in the surf together, and you know, there are certain things that you do and don't do. You got to keep your rods a certain distance apart, but and depending on the amount of surf and you know how much weight you use and stuff. So I thought I would bring Tim in today to kind of share those ideas.
So Tim, have you always pompano fished, or is this something maybe since retirement you have focused on?
Oh Lord, no.
As I've gotten older, I've refocused on pompano fishing, mainly because it's from the shore, and I'm getting to the age where the seas tend to beat me up when it's not the right conditions, and today would have been perfect for gag. It looks like it'd be a calm ride out in the Gulf. But
so we'll see you later.
So now there's two places we should be here.
And where Greg and I go is, and Harvey Hollingsworth goes with me, is going through Tyndall Air Force Base and cooking, fishing off of Crooked Island Sound. And you can look to the east down the beach on Crooked Island while you're fishing, and there's not a single man-made structure visible.
Yeah, isn't that
as far as you
wonderful
can see. And then when you look to the west, you just barely can make out a condo on the beach down that way. So it's all about how beautiful and serene the fishing is.
Absolutely.
And at the first of the season, and I tie my own rigs, and basically all I'm using is these components here.
All right, Tim, hold that thought a second. Now, hold
Yes,
that
sir.
thought a second. We gotta go and pay the bills, but we're gonna come back and look at the rig here, and then talk about what you're looking for on the
found this
beach
on the
as
web.
well. So we'll be right back in a second. All right, welcome back. All right, before I interrupted you, now you build your own rig, so talk
Yes, I
about
do.
what we're doing.
And like I said at the beginning, it's all about the water and around you. In the early season, I build my rigs, and they're basically a 3-hook rig, pyramid lead, circle hooks, and I strongly encourage you to use circle hooks. You'll tend to lose less fish as you're getting them on the beach. And a swivel at the end. And I generally wrap it in one of these foam tubes and take it off so that I don't have 12 hooks tying themselves up on the rod ends. The best thing that's come recently, and I say recently, last 20 years or whatever it's been fish bite.
Yeah, but it's probably been the last 7 or 8 years that it's really caught on for that.
Well, and the reason I like it so much, sand fleas would be your very best natural bait for pompano, and shrimp, just pieces of shrimp. But I've casted so many times my shrimp and sand fleas with this heavy lead and watched my baits go
Fly off in different directions.
And so I'm fishing with bare hooks. Fish bite, when it comes off, it's because a fish has chewed it off. It just doesn't. It melts
Right.
off and it lasts. So a commercial for fish bite.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, early season, I'll tie up my rigs with these foam pieces that kind of illuminates and floats your bait a little bit off the bottom. But in late season, when the hardtails and the skipjack show up, you need to retie rigs without these foam floats on, and you'll have better odds of catching just pompano instead of trash fish.
Eliminate some of the trash.
And just when you stretch out your monofilament, and this is, what'd you say it was,
20 pounds. Yeah.
I just basically tie a double overhand loop. If I can get this line through the loop, pull it tight, flip the loop, and that becomes a place or site to tie a hook on. So just
It's just like a double surgeon's knot right there. Mm-hmm.
correct.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Except for I'm not a surgeon.
Yeah, well,
Sometimes we have to get those hooks out. They call Dr.
Oh my
Britnicki.
gosh.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I would stress is the watercolor. And if you're following a storm where it's churned the Gulf up and it's brownish and seaweed all in it, really ought to think about not fishing because all you're going to catch is catfish.
Is
A lot of
catfish.
catfish.
Bill's favorite.
trust me, I know catfish. I can catch them on anything. So when you set these, how far, first of all, how far are you casting them out? You have one shorter, one deeper?
Yes, I do. In fact, generally I'll fish one real short, just over where the waves are breaking. One midway, and then one as far as I can go, unless I'm hitting another sandbar. I like to fish in the trough,
Right.
and that area down there is where we've been fishing. Has a really deep trough right off the beach, so you really don't have to work hard at getting your bait out where you want it.
So you got one that close in that first deep
Yeah,
trough.
right over the break.
Okay.
And it depends again on how much surf you've got. If it's really calm, they're going to tend to be trying to find the sand fleas and the crabs that get churned up with what little surf you've got.
Yeah.
So, but the conditions, we used to fish with Dr. Owen Reese, and he was a hoot to fish with, and he had his set ways, was still using a Pin 209 and long rods. And there again, refused to use fish bite. And he would sling as hard as he would. He sling and backlash and fight. And I'd watch his baits go off onto the side and
He chummed for everybody else.
Still wouldn't change it.
And the funny thing, I have to tell him about, he's passed away now, but he was a really great guy to fish
Yes.
with. And one day we were out on Shell Island, and it was a gentle breeze coming in and gentle lap, and my eyes got heavy, and I thought, that sand looks pretty good. I think I'll just kind of ease down and lay down. So I went sound asleep, and I started hearing some noise, and it was Harvey and Owen picking up their gear and getting ready to leave. And I said, "Y'all catch anything?" Didn't have a bite. I said, "Well, I didn't miss anything. Got a good nap." So about a week or two later, went back and was the same conditions. I said, "Golly, this lapping and the sun and this cool breeze, I think I'm gonna take a nap." So I got down on the sand, and Owen came up and kicked me in the side and said, "Get up." Said, "Last time you did that, we didn't get a bite."
Stay out of the stand.
So as soon as I got up, we started catching
Well,
fish.
there you go. What about on the beach, Tim? Are you looking for any physical characteristics of the beach and the water? I know that a lot of people like to find an indention or a good backwash somewhere if there's some waves. Do you think that matters?
Well, one of my favorite, depends on how much surf you've got, but if you got some surf, looking for the same things that will protect your life is understanding where rip currents actually exist, where the water's running parallel to the beach and then turns and goes out. That is a really good place
Right.
to set up and fish, because
Like the river.
there again, the bait that's being washed up out of the sand fleas and the little crabs and whatever, shrimps, whatever else, will tend to get washed into that rip
Right. Exactly.
going out,
That's what
and
I'm
that's a
talking about.
really good place to fish,
Yeah.
depending on how much current and surf.
So you can tell, where you're at.
Yep.
Yeah. But, I mean, if you've got a good pompano run, and you're set up right, you probably can catch fish. But those are some of the things where you have to kind of study the beach and the water, and I don't ever set one out that close in the first trough out there, but I guess I should, obviously.
And whiting will run through there and stuff. And you're going to get some times where the water's just dead calm.
Yeah.
and do you need as much weight? And what I have done over the years is I will put on an egg sinker, have a leader about that long with a circle hook, and put on your fish bite or whatever you use with a smaller rod, cast out, and then and what I do is I just move that weight, and it goes through the sand, and then behind it you've got this sand flea, that you've put on there, or the fish bite. And if there's no action whatsoever, they think it's a sand that weight is. You got to do something, if you're not throwing a jig.
Hold that thought. All right, we're going to go ahead and take our last break here. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So let's finish that thought. And one thing you have to know about Greg is he can't sit still. So sitting there watching those, he's going to have a spinning rod walking up and down the beach throwing a jig or moving that because he can't stand it.
Yeah.
Especially if you're the one catching the fish and he's not.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to be. That's a bad.
You don't want to be. That's a bad position to be.
And that's true.
It's relentless.
Yeah. So anyway, when you're fishing with that with the egg sinker and about an 18-inch leader, you cast it out there, and the water's just still like a mill pond. You move. The only time you move the bait with the rod, not with the reel. So in other words, after you gather, you move it toward yourself. You got that weight will burrow through the sand, and you've got the bait behind here. The weight's burrowing through the sand, and that pompano will pick that thing up. And I've had them come and run straight at me, and all of a sudden I'm ready to pull, and I've got to gather. And all of a sudden, bam! There he is, right in front of me. He'd grab that hook, and take off. Tremendously exciting. So if your water's real calm, he doesn't
enjoy it at all.
Yeah, if your water's real calm, you need to do that to increase the action. And I want to get Tim's got another really good tip that he needs to share.
One more thing I want to say. And again, I'm a natural bait person. When I do my other fishing, I love live bait. Live bait fishing is my favorite. And Greg's going to teach me how to use artificials, which I don't know that it'll be better than live bait, but we'll see. But anyway, one more thing that I want to make sure that everybody understands. No matter what bait I've got, sand flea is probably the best, shrimp is great bait, and if I've got those two, I'm always going to have fish bite on the hook and add the shrimp or the sand flea.
Yeah.
Always have this on your hook.
I agree. Have you found one color over the other? I know you.
I kind of like the orange, and I like this one happens to be Easy Flea, and I like
Easy Shrimp, kind of reddish.
Yeah.
Yep, I like the shrimp. So shrimp and flea would be my two choices.
All right, there you go. Recently, you made a trip to South Florida.
Yeah, my old geezer friend W.C. Harlow, he is a master turkey hunter. We go, we used to go every year. We haven't been for like 6 years. We went down to fish in South Tampa Bay, going out of Little Harbor for snook. And we fished 2 days with the same guy that we've always fished with before. Name just happens to be, his name is Art Pavia, but Snooky Bear is his name, and he is a Portuguese guy, very colorful, but a tremendous fisherman. So we went down there with him. We fished for 2 days, and I will tell you, if we didn't catch 100 snook in those 2 days, it was absolutely amazing. And we would lose sometimes. You lost 50% of them because just they'd grab it and tear off into the mangroves or something. But he really hooked us up, and we've got some pictures.
Okay.
That's, and we caught several really, really nice snook. We had a couple hooked this was all on live bait, that were just horses that.
Did you say live bait?
Yeah. He won't. Yeah, he won't. It's his boat, and I told him. I said, "Listen, I'd like to bring a lure down there." He said, "Look, when I come to Panama City, we can fish with whatever you want to fish with. But when you're here on my boat, and I'm the guy, you gonna fish with what I tell you." And I said, "Yes, sir."
And that was the G-rated version.
Well, that is. That is the G-rated version. And
so how big? What is that one?
That's probably 10, 12 pounder. That one, I had one, that was probably 15 or 16. Years ago, I did catch a 41 incher, which I have on my phone. I don't know if I've ever showed that before, but that was north of 35 pounds. It was a huge. Did catch one little trout, and wanted to take a picture of that. But we stayed hooked up all the time, and WC actually had to say, listen, no mas, I'm done. And he would sit down and say, you go ahead and fish. And I'd fish. We were supposed to be able to fish till 5 or 6 o'clock at night. About 3:30, I'm standing up all day long. And I said, hell with it. That's enough.
All right, man. Cool. All right, it's that time. Tim, you get to do the honor so people can be ticked off at you. We got the first drawing is for a $20 gift certificate at Tarpon Dock.
Greg Abrams. One of my
Golly,
favorite
it's
people.
me.
Yeah, I do that a lot. Yeah.
Just kidding. Chris Upchurch from Weewall.
All right, and now we have a whole red snapper.
Hastings Shaw.
All right, very
Hastings
good.
Shaw.
All right, you know how to contact us. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you learned something today. I'm sure you did, but God bless and have a great weekend.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.